you end up with beyond that, I would say to the extreme, problems fester, and
Yep.
not just inefficiencies or poor processes in the business itself, but interpersonal problems amongst employees fester. If
Yep.
they don't have a way of communicating in a productive manner with one another, then those interpersonal struggles, and they're going to exist. If you have a bunch of people together working together, there's going to be some level of interpersonal issue amongst somebody somewhere at some time. And I think part of the psychological safety idea is if people are able to openly communicate, that can also help nip some of these problems in the bud, or have these people sit down. And again, if they don't know how to communicate or they're encouraged to communicate, they can sit down with their management and sort of hash out
Yeah.
these issues before they fester and become a problem, um, because they will fester and become a problem otherwise.
Yep.
And
You
from an
could lead to.
organizational perspective, I was going to say just like friction. In order for ideas to be born, new ideas to be born, in order for the status quo to be changed, in order for things to improve beyond what you're doing, there's a certain friction between ideas that has to occur. And so you've got the way we're doing things right now, and we think it's good, and there's the group of people that think that's good, and then there's the group of or the person who has a new idea, and there's going to be a certain level of friction when they bring this idea to the table and they try and explain why it's good. And you need that environment where they feel like, okay, I'm safe to do this here, even if there's pushback. you know again, this is where communication is important, because from the management perspective, the pushback has to be constructive and productive. It can't be an attack on the individual, and it can't even shouldn't even be an attack on the idea. It should be an explaining why maybe the idea does or does not work.
Yep.
um, and I think that's what management job is actually. Management job is not to say, well, this is how we do things and I have all the great ideas and everyone should listen to me. It's taking all of the ideas of everyone that you oversee and implementing the best ones, being a champion for the best ones.
Yep.
I think that's what you really want to do, because the idea is you're trying to get the most out of everybody that's part of your team. And if you're not listening to their ideas, or you're not willing to consider them honestly at face value, even if they challenge something that you thought was best or that you came up with and you implemented, um, you're doing a disservice to yourself and to the organization that you are
Yep.
part of managing. And ultimately, as a manager, it's about the performance of your team, not yourself. So you want to get them like, well, those two things go together, I should say. Your performance is based on the performance of your team ultimately, right? You're a manager, it means you're overseeing people, you're a leader, you're leading people. So in order to lead well, the people underneath you need to perform well. Your department or your location needs to perform well, which again means that you want to get all of the best ideas to come to the surface. And yep, there's going to be someone that has the final say. And as a manager, director, or executive, that may be you, but ultimately you want to consider everything whenever possible. And there are time constraints. So putting systems in place, like the idea box, it's a very simple idea, but that can help, streamline some of this feedback. But ultimately, if you're in meetings all day long, then just being able to have open dialogue is important.